At Dave Cooper Live, we connect the industry leaders in the architectural, engineering, and construction space with the people, the products, and the processes to help them build it better. Welcome, everybody, to Dave Cooper Live, where we showcase the people, the products, and the processes helping us all to build it better. Welcome to the 2024 Innovative Housing Showcase on the National Mall pre-show. Today, Dan Hardcastle, Special Policy Advisor at the U.S. Department of Housing, is here to give us some insights to this upcoming weekend's events. These events bring together policymakers, home builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and the public to experience groundbreaking advancements in affordable, resilient housing. Over the next few days, you'll have the opportunity to tour full-size prototype homes, discover cutting-edge building technologies that address affordability, resiliency, and sustainability. But first, before all of this fun stuff happens and before we bring Dan on, a word from our sponsors. Forward Solutions Group is successfully driving companies to succeed where others have failed. Are you looking to start a factory, optimize your existing factory, streamline your production, or take your team to the next level? Whatever your needs are, Forward has a solution for you. Reach out to Ben at forwardsolutionsgroup.com. Howick Ltd. has a long history of innovation in cold form steel manufacturing and producing innovative precision roll forming technology for customers throughout the United States and the world. Check out their machine buyer's guide for off-site modular construction or fast build construction with light steel for framing. Go to their website, howickltd.com. Brought to you by Greatech, one of the largest Autodesk partners globally and software developer of the PowerPack Advanced Design, Advanced Steel, and the StruxSoft product line. The complete solution to automate wood and light gauge steel framing, design, and documentation all the way out to CNC output, model, design, and manufacture with StruxSoft. Learn more at StruxSoftSolutions.com. All right. Thanks again to all of our supporting members and sponsors out there. We cannot deliver all of these informative conversations and bring people on like Dan Hardcastle without your support. So let's hop into it and let's bring Dan onto the show. Dan, how are you, my friend?
Dave, doing great. Always great to talk to you.
You know what? It's an honor to have you on the show. I will say, from the world of politicians, government, and housing, you are a true friend to trying to build it better. And I'm super excited to have you on. And I'm super excited for our audience to get to know who you are and know that they do have an advocate in Washington, D.C. trying to build it better. So thank you.
Absolutely. I think this is a time more than ever where we really need innovative solutions from industry and government if we're going to solve the housing crisis that we face.
So, Dan, we know what your job is, but we want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we may have your mother, your wife, and your kids on the show, and that could get very embarrassing. But you only have a minute and a half to do it, so hop right in.
All right. Well, it was 2:59 in the morning, Central Standard Time in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Then skipping ahead, no, I've really been focused on housing innovation. Prior to my time at HUD, I coming out of law school, really saw an opportunity to advance accessory dwelling unit development here in the Washington, D.C. area as a solution that can really bring affordability directly to people's backyards. And since joining HUD at the start of the new administration, I've gotten to work with folks across the department to really advance a lot of these innovative ideas, whether it's around zoning and land use or ADUs or manufactured housing, offsite construction. These are all areas that I think we see a lot of opportunity with, and that for me personally, just are an outside the box approach, sometimes literally, that really can make a dent. So I come here and have the opportunity to work on the showcase and all these other really exciting elements, and it really builds just kind of on a career of seeking approaches that aren't within the norm and can bring out different solutions.
Well, and that's what it's all about, right? Thinking differently and having people that are looking forward. And by the way, for all of you out there, Dan is very easy to get a hold of if you just show up at all the events, because he's at all of the events, either speaking or attending to learn more about it. But this time, we're here to talk about something that is happening for the fourth year in the row, if I have that right, the innovative housing showcase that is taking place this weekend on the Washington, D.C. Mall. Why don't you kind of give us the background on this and why it is so valuable?
Yeah, so this is our fourth year doing this. We missed a couple of years during the pandemic, but we've been out there since 2022, so third year in a row. And there's no setting like the mall, in terms of the kind of attention that you can get from the public, from policymakers. It's truly America's front yard, and that makes it an incredibly appropriate place to display the kind of housing solutions that we think really can make a difference for all Americans. This year we've partnered with 4 co-presenters: the International Code Council, the Manufactured Housing Institute, the National Multifamily Housing Council, and the Structural Building Components Association, to really make sure that we're covering the whole gamut of the housing space, because these are solutions that can fit in a lot of different areas, whether you're talking ADUs in someone's backyard, whether you're talking a panelized home that's able to go up, and the one in the mall we were able to put up in just 8 hours this year. I think they said they try to beat their time each year, and to even multifamily solutions. It's all there's so much activity in this space, as you and obviously you know, that we really want to bring that to the policymakers and the public here in Washington, D.C.
Right. So
this year, in addition to what's happening on the mall, we've really expanded our programming, discussing what's happening. We're having a series of panel discussions at the nearby District Architecture Center that will be both available to live stream and free for the public to attend in person as well. And so, it sounds cliche, but this year truly will be bigger and better than ever. We're talking over 40 exhibitors from 20 states and over 80 speakers on the mall, or at the District Architecture Center. So it'll be a great time this weekend.
So where does everybody go, Dan, to see the speakers? Or last year, I believe you had a big tent set up out on the mall. I know Secretary Fudge was there speaking. Is it going to be a similar setup?
So this year, the speaking is going to be happening nearby the mall at the District Architecture Center. And if folks go to the web address that I shared, they'll be able to find the information on that. But it's on 7th Street, just right by the mall. But we decided to opt for a little more air conditioning for some days of presentations. But we have an incredible roster of folks from industry and government that are going to be talking about, not just the usual conversations, around housing affordability and innovation, but really trying to dig into what can we do, what is actionable here, what are the steps that we can do as a government and as with private industry to really move things forward. One of these conversations that I'm really excited about, we're going to have the team from ModX, who I know a lot of folks know. They're going to be talking about the work that they've been doing with HUD support to go around the world, capture some of the best practices from Japan, from Sweden, from the UK, from the countries that are really doing offsite construction at scale, and kind of bring those ideas back to the American context and think through how we can, kind of get back to where we were. It's interesting that in a lot of ways, HUD really pioneered this space, back in the 1960s through what we called Operation Breakthrough. We did a lot of the foundational research that laid out processes for, developing an industrialized construction regime. It ultimately led to the creation of the HUD Code for manufactured housing in 1974, recognizing the importance of a national code. But, a lot of countries have taken what we sort of got started then and have really taken it further. Again, Japan and Sweden being a couple of the major examples where a lot of the ideas that HUD really developed through Operation Breakthrough, they've really taken them to scale, really grown the size of their offsite industries. And so as we, refocus on, the what we can do to expand the housing supply in this country, we're really viewing the opportunities to bring industrialized construction to scale is really key to that. And so the work that the ModX team will be talking about here is really going to inform some future announcements that we make about federal actions and how we as a government, as a whole of government, can support the offsite industry.
Well, and that's really it. The ModX, I love those guys, right? Because one, they're professors, so they teach at universities, and they've been doing this for a long time as well. And they've been doing these tours overseas and around the world. So I'm super happy to hear that you're partnered up with them for the educational side of this, the learning side, the data collection side, kind of what you're speaking about. The innovative showcase that's happening on the mall this weekend. Let's talk a little bit about the value what that brings. So if we were to break this down, one, for a consumer, it gives them an opportunity to see, what's coming down the pipeline, what's out there, what people are doing to try and make homes more affordable for the masses. Because as we know, we got a homeless crisis in every city around the world for the most part. But here in our own country, the way we've been building isn't working, or we wouldn't have this problem. Or is there other problems causing that?
I mean, there's a laundry list of reasons why, housing is unaffordable in this country, from local zoning and land use barriers to, kind of inconsistent funding streams for affordable housing. But yeah, I think that, construction, efficiency and productivity is right there at the top. You see studies that show that, overall that housing construction in the U.S., the productivity has not increased in several decades. And, it's really about, I think, helping the industry and appreciate the solutions that are out there, appreciate how they can bring them to scale, but then also getting the public excited, getting the public
right.
Aware of, exactly what it looks like to, have, a modular unit in their backyard as an ADU, or to live in a manufactured home. I think that people, we get a lot of impressed and surprised reactions from the general public who are like, oh, I didn't know this is what a manufactured home looked like. I didn't know this is what, something built in a factory could look, could look what I think of as a traditional home. I think that's really one of the big takeaways we get from the showcase.
Well, it is, and people get to see 3D printed homes, and and like you said, I was showing it earlier. I'll put it up one more time. I kept putting it up because this is the house that they built in 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same this year, but what we're showing is some. This is a photo from last year, I believe. Last year, that's what it looked like. But the videos we're showing are the walkthrough we did last year in the mall. So this year, you're going to see even different people out there with ADUs and technology.
Yeah, we're going to have, you mentioned 3D printing. We're really excited. One of the exhibitors we have out there is actually a company that had worked with originally out in Nome, Alaska, to fund their development of some units out there using their 3D technology, which, when you're talking about Nome, the kind of traditional gantry design that you think of with 3D printers, that's
Right.
That's not going to work. You really need, so what they've developed here is something that, truly is designed to be all terrain, is designed to, get to remote sites and put up what needs to happen there. And so that technology is actually now being adopted in collaboration with the Maryland National Guard to do their own development in Maryland. So it's just an example of the kind of cross-pollination that we're able to create at HUD with our kind of national presence and commuting power.
So let's talk about the value of this for developers and builders that are out there that are looking for better ways to build. Obviously we're going to show some more of the houses and what's going on out there. But outside of that, there's new technology. There's EcoStud. Last year there was mechanical systems and super highly efficient toilets and so many other things that these developers and builders could come look at outside of just seeing some of the smaller modulars, ADUs, or panelized systems that are out there. Correct?
Yeah, we have some really cool technologies. The incinerator toilet from last year was definitely a hit for folks. Just a fun thing to think about, how you can truly be off the grid in terms of what you're developing in your backyard. But yeah, we've in collaboration with the Department of Energy, we have some truly cutting edge pre-market technologies and products that are straight out of the national laboratories where they've been developed. They're still truly in their prototype phase.
Right.
But it's a great opportunity for folks in the industry to see what's above the horizon, what's the next step that we can take, whether it's about resilience and energy efficiency or more cost-effective construction techniques. It'll be a wide gamut and a lot of things that you're not going to see elsewhere.
Well, and that's it, right? I mean, heck, NASA is going to be there. So, I mean, let's think about NASA is going to be there. That's cool.
Right. Buried the lead there, but yes, we're really excited to collaborate with our colleagues at NASA this year to bring out an inflatable lunar habitat from their Artemis mission. I understand that with Earth having an atmosphere and the moon not so much, that probably inflatable housing is not the future here. But I think it just goes to show the kind of investments that federal dollars can make and how they can really have an impact here on Earth. It actually ties back. I mentioned Operation Breakthrough earlier. The program office within HUD that leads the showcase, our Office of Policy Development and Research, our first leader of that office came to us from NASA, a gentleman named Harry Finger, who's well into his 90s, but is still well and kicking. And the kind of work that he really got kicked off then 50 years ago, again, is really something that we're picking up and moving forward in a new way. So it's only fitting that we have NASA out there again.
Well, I think it's really cool. And I mean, we got so much great technology happening this year, and in the write-up, so everybody knows, we listed, I believe I got most of them, if not all of the exhibitors there, and we have them all tagged. So you'll be able to go there and take a look at them. You'll be able to come down to the mall this weekend and walk through, touch, feel. These aren't your trailer park style homes, thin 2-inch walls like you remember, back in the 60s. These things are built like tanks, I like to say. I mean, you just can't cut a 2x4 across the toe of your boot 1,000 times the same way as a factory machine can do it, right? And get the accuracy. And I think that's kind of the difference here. This stuff is really built well, and especially the 3D printed stuff. They're like bunkers.
Yeah, I think that resilience is real. There are a lot a lot of reasons why embracing industrialized construction makes sense, but I think the resilience and efficiency angle, you could just have so much more control in factories, or using an on-site 3D printer to really make the fine gradations that you need. I think it really speaks to what you can do.
Yeah.
Some of the couple of exhibits I'm most excited about, we have the first ever HUD code manufactured home duplexes on display out there. We actually had to do a special regulatory waiver so we could display them, because they won't officially be available nationwide until we finalize the updates to our HUD code later this summer. But they're really an example of moving what's traditionally thought of, folks think of manufactured housing as a more rural or suburban solution, but when you're talking about the ability to build duplexes, triplexes, more than that, you really have a solution that can make a lot of sense in an urban infill context. And so we really think that when you combine the cost savings that you get from building under a national code with this new flexibility to build new housing types, that it's really a powerful solution.
Yeah, for sure. And you're saying that there is actually one on display on the mall as we speak?
There are two. In fact, we have two HUD code duplexes. So yes, by all means, check them out. They're first of the kind. Soon coming to you nationwide. So.
Yeah, and listen, if you want to be on the Dave Cooper Live Show, we're going to be there in person. We're going to do our best to do a live show walkthrough. Who knows? Maybe we'll see you there in the mall, Dan, and you can give us a tour of one of these. I think that would be super cool.
Yeah.
Not that you're too busy or anything.
Never too busy for you, Dave.
I love it. I wish everybody would say that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think this is great. Let's talk about the goal of all of this, moving forward in the conversations that happen after these events happen. Are you finding that people are wanting to come sit at the table and work harder and tighten up their belts a little bit and sharpen their pencils to try and get down to the busy work of truly addressing affordable housing?
I think you do see that, especially coming out of something like this, where you have so many people from industry, from federal government, from local and state government, all coming together. This is the kind of event that really sparks those conversations, because we recognize that we've faced housing affordability issues for decades now, but it's really come to a head since the pandemic, with on the homeownership side, on the rental side, just folks are looking for ways to lower their housing costs. And there are a wide number of ways that we're coming at that, as an administration, from the way that we support first-time home buyers through our FHA mortgage products, to the kind of support that we provide to cities and communities to fund the construction of more housing. But ultimately, it's about the collaboration with industry. HUD, we don't swing hammers ourselves. We provide the resources to folks to get out there and to build the homes. And so it really does take bringing everyone together to really think through what this means. How do we move this forward? We've put together a housing supply action plan that we announced a couple of years ago that we've been making really strong progress on, whether it's policy changes around ADU financing or manufactured housing, or the ways that we've tried to push forward for greater uniformity, working with folks like the ICC on encouraging states to adopt their model modular code. It's recognizing that there are all these levers and all these partners that we need to work with if we're going to really move the needle on affordable housing. But again, I think that the one area where we really can all come together is just this recognition that innovation, finding a better way to build, is going to be fundamental to how we move these goals forward.
Yeah. Why don't we look at some of the programming, the schedule? I'll put it up on the screen so people can watch. And then what I really want to know at the end of all of this is, how do we get people involved? How do we let people know they truly have a voice in policy and how we can drive things forward? So maybe you can touch on that after we go through the agenda.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I mentioned, tomorrow is when we're going to be kicking off with our offsite events, which again, folks go to the website. You're able to RSVP either for in person. We do still have room in person, but obviously recognize you've got a widely geographic diverse audience here. So for folks who are not able to be in DC, there's an opportunity to stream it online as well. But I mentioned the opening conversation with the ModX team. Moving from there into the next section will be with our collaborators at the International Code Council, talking about the role that codes and standards can play in both in terms of promoting standardization and economies of scale, but also bringing forth the latest advances in building science and materials. Codes are obviously the framework around which we all work, we all build, and so there's really so much that can be done to kind of promote these innovations by making sure that they're well supported within codes. Moving into the afternoon panel tomorrow, our session 2, we're really going to be focusing squarely on the history of manufactured housing and innovation, starting at 1:30. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the act of Congress that led to the creation of the HUD code, and so we really want to take a look back at what those past 50 years have meant, how far we've gone, especially focusing on just in the past few years, all the updates we've made to really modernize the code, but then also talking about, the barriers that remain, the zoning restrictions that continue to keep manufactured and other housing types out of communities, and then talking about the future, where we go from here with manufactured housing and the HUD code, and how we can bring more homes, under its federal preemption, so that we're able to really, again, bring economies of scale and move the needle. And finally, tomorrow, later in the day, we'll be speaking with colleagues from the Department of Energy, again, focusing on all the tremendous work that they're doing to both provide resources to consumers as well as to industry to build the higher codes, build to the green standards that provide a lower cost of living for homeowners. With these more energy efficient investments, there's just such a basket of resources that have been created within the past couple of years that we really want to make sure folks are aware of them. So then moving into day 2, we'll be talking about zoning innovation on Friday at 9:30. As you scroll down a bit further, we'll have folks from Ivory Innovations out there, as well as Brookings and National Zoning Atlas, Sarah Broden there, just talking about kind of where are we at in terms of understanding the zoning barriers around this country, as we do a better job of cataloging them and identifying what it is that's keeping homes from being built. There really is a tremendous opportunity to unlock land and make more of it usable for new building. Then later in the morning will be our colleagues from the National Multifamily Housing Council will really talk about the intersections with public housing in this country, as well as multifamily more broadly. A lot of what you see on the mall is our single family designs, just because that's what you can easily transport and put on a plot of grass. But multifamily housing is obviously core to how we solve the crisis in this country.
Sure.
We're all about providing solutions to renters as well as homeowners, and so we're really going to be getting into a lot of that work. Then in the second session on Friday, we'll be really drilling down on innovation and resilience, how we can help at the community level with communities that need to adapt to, rising sea levels and increasing storm intensity. And then, closing out, talking about financing and scaling for these technologies. You can only do so much without the dollars. Financing is ultimately what underpins so much of innovation, and so that's one of our key roles here at HUD and within the Federal Housing Administration is making sure that our financing tools meet the needs of folks who are trying to build in innovative ways.
Yeah, for sure. And also, because I'd be remiss if I didn't, the ICC, the International Codes Council, is also going to be doing some stuff with HUD and Dan. And I want to put this up here just so everybody can see it. And the reason it is so important to talk about this stuff is there's always this head button between the International Code Council and Offsite. But I am here to tell you that they are here to work with all of you just as much as HUD and Dan I can't speak anymore, Dan. Dan Hardcastle from HUD and the ICC are all here to help you. They're all going to be at this event, and they want to hear from you. Not only that, Dan, I got exciting news. We're partnering this year with the ICC for their annual event that's happening in Los Angeles near the end of the year. More details to come on that, but guess what? They want us to bring the Offsite crew to their annual event where all, and when I say all, of their code inspectors come for their annual training. How cool is that?
I think that sounds like a tremendous opportunity. We're really excited with, what ICC has been able to do, with Virginia and now Utah adopting their model modular code. I think that, again, getting more states, to align, I think that the builders here who are viewers of yours understand, that this is an area where, we think of codes and regulations and uniformity as, being constricting, but, this is an area where uniformity unlocks economies of scale. It's what allows folks to build one design, and ship it across the state, ideally across state lines, across the country. That's what we see in Japan and Sweden and countries that really are succeeding. They have done a lot of work to really create, a uniform code base from which their builders can operate. And I truly believe that is critical to unlocking the power of offsite construction in America.
It is. And, speaking of the ICC, I got a legend in the background here. Ryan Kolker, the one, the only, the legend from the International Code Council. Ryan, thank you so much for joining. And I look forward to seeing you in Washington, D.C. I'm on my way there right after the show to hang out with everybody and to bring you live updates. That's right. You heard it here. We're going to bring you live updates. We're going to show you what is going on in real time. Show up, come down and see us. I'd love to get your thoughts on it. We could do it live on camera. How about that, Dan? That sounds fun, right?
I can't wait. The weather should be great. It's cooling off a bit in DC. It should be sunny, comfortable. It's going to be a great weekend. Bring the kids. Everyone's going to be on the mall.
Look at this. Greg Ugaldi's there. Hey, Greg, thanks for joining us. Outstanding DC Live. See you at the Innovative Housing Showcase. Greg is the immediate past chair of the National Association of Home Builders. We got all the heavy hitters joining today. You must be a well-liked guy, Dan.
I try to be, and the home builders, they've really been great supporters of the showcase. Our first 3 years, and so it's great to know that they'll be out there as well.
I got one question for you here, and then we're gonna wrap up on you telling us how people get involved. Henry Mickelberg says, any chance of updating us on the HUD Manufactured Homes Code current legal status in the context of it superseding other codes? A code compliance hierarchy question, probably.
So I can speak to what's happening immediately. We are close to finalizing what we're called the fourth and fifth set of updates to the HUD code, which will bring in new housing types. I mentioned the duplexes and more plexes that will be newly buildable there, that will expand the HUD code's reach. But beyond that, we want to hear from folks, how the HUD code can serve more needs in industry, how it can again expand new housing types, how we can bring the latest innovations under the HUD code. In terms of the relationship between the HUD code and other codes, its preemptive authority is very specific, to what it defines as manufactured home, and we don't have statutory room to move beyond that into other forms of housing that would come under a national code. So again, it's really about what can we do within the HUD code to really make sure that as many builders as want to come under the HUD code are able to do so.
Excellent. How do people get involved, Dan?
Come on down, sign up through the website to view what's going to be going on. If folks can always, you know how to get a hold of me, Dave. So, if you have any burning questions from listeners, you can pass them my way. But, we really want to make sure that, folks in industry who, again, are the ones out there actually building the homes that they have wet our ear and that we understand their needs, so that we're really able to enable them to build the housing that we need as a country.
Any last words? Did I miss anything of importance that you want to make sure the world knows about?
I think, there's no better place to be in DC this weekend than on the mall. And check out what we've got online, and again, look for a lot of great announcements we'll be making throughout the summer about all the ways that HUD and this administration is supporting offsite construction and housing innovation.
Yeah, I mean, there you have it. There's a good view right there of all the other houses, and if you want to see them, you got to come see them for yourself. That's what I'm hearing from Mr. Hardcastle here. Dan, thank you so much for coming on the Dave Cooper Live show today. We really appreciate it. And I look forward to shaking your hand when I see you hopefully in a day or two down in Washington, D.C.
Absolutely, Dave. Great to be with you.
All right. Listen, again, we can't do this without all of our sponsors. So once again, say thank you to these supporting members and sponsors as well. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching. Dan, hang right there. I'll come to you after the show. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.